100 years. This was how long the NFL has been existing and is still going pretty strong to this day. It has been around for generations. Within these years, there have been great seasons people look back on, while others, not so much. But within this century of existence, there is one season that stands out quite a bit from the rest. Well, actually, more like it stood out a whole lot, as it is remarked by many to be the strangest NFL season in NFL history, and for a very good reason. Now, for those who know about this particular year I'm referring to, as by the title, you guys know what this is about. And for those who happen not to know about the infamous 1982 NFL season, well then you are in for a ride. From the 9-game shortened season to the NFL players strike for 8 weeks to a criminal saving the Patriots playoff hopes, and also a 16-team playoff tournament instead of the regular playoffs, teams below 500 making the playoffs, and the NFL MVP award going to a kicker. All of this and more happened during the 1982 NFL season, or should it be called the weirdest NFL season ever. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. For any new viewers or subscribers, welcome. I am Mark the Great, and in today's video I'll be covering the weirdest NFL season in its history, or otherwise known as the 1982 season. So if you happen to like this video, then consider liking the video, and if you are new, consider subscribing to the channel, as I post videos like these weekly and you do not want to miss out. So that's enough of that stuff. On to the story of the 1982 NFL season.
And the strike is on. The National Football League has called a strike that will begin tomorrow. Gibbs Shanley has more on this, and Gibbs, is going to be a long one.
The first thing I want to address when talking about the 1982 season was the strike. Now, this strike was a disagreement between the NFLPA, or the NFL Players Association, and the NFL itself. This started when the Players Association demanded that players receive 55% of the gross revenue, as opposed to the original 50% previously agreed on by both sides. The NFL refused this deal, and that caused the NFLPA to go on strike. Now, I'm addressing this strike first because it's the biggest reason why the season was only 9 games long, if you happen to be wondering. Anyways, the Players Association went on strike. Now, the big thing here is that the NFLPA consists of all the players in the NFL, and since the NFLPA went on strike, well, I'm pretty sure you can put 2 and 2 together. Since no players were available to play due to all of them being on strike, no football games could be played at all. So in all, the NFL was completely canceled, as in no games were played at all from September 21st all the way up till November 16th in 1982. Now, to put this into perspective, that was 57 days, which equates to about 8 weeks. So in all, 8 weeks of the NFL football was canceled because of the players' strike, and that was a little bit less than half of the 1982 season. So overall, the schedule was shortened to only 9 games after its return in early November. I would talk about the strike a little more, but I don't want to make this video unnecessarily long, so maybe another day, as there's still another big thing that needs to be mentioned here, and that was the playoff struggle. The playoffs were a very interesting time, to say the least. Now, I say this because, one, out of the 28 NFL teams at the time, 16 of those teams qualified for the playoffs on both sides. So to put that into context, think this. There are 14 teams in each conference respectively. Now think here, 8 out of those 14 teams made the playoffs. Nowadays, and basically every other normal season, it usually consists of 4 division winners and 2 wildcard spots per conference, which turns out to 12 total playoff spots. In this previous system, the NFL ran was 16 spots. So now you see a difference. Not to mention, when having that amount of spots with only 28 teams, which is more than half by the way, this can allow teams with a record under 500 can qualify for the playoffs, which is completely makes no sense to me. Now, I know some people might bring up the 2010 Seahawks and how they went 7-9 and qualified for the playoffs, but they actually won their division, unlike some of the teams that qualified for the 1982 playoffs. In the 1982 playoffs, there were actually 2 teams with a record below 500, and those teams were the Cleveland Browns, who went 4-5, and the Detroit Lions, who also went 4-5, and they were both ranked as a number 8 seed, which kind of sounds a little weird to me when talking about football. I do not know about you all, so I'm pretty sure you guys know how this tournament would play out. You know, the 8 seed plays the 1 seed, and the 7 seed plays the 2 seed. You guys get it. I am not really going to explain how the whole playoffs went. However, the important thing was that the Washington Redskins and the Miami Dolphins, who were the winners for their respective conferences, and they ended up playing in the Super Bowl. But before I touch on the Super Bowl, I want to go over some other interesting things during this already wacky season, and that was the the interesting MVP choice. So I happened to, if you happen to see the thumbnail or me mentioning it back in the beginning of the video, but yeah, the MVP of the 1982 season was the Redskins place kicker, Mark Mosley. Now, I have no idea why they made a kicker the MVP of the league. I just can't imagine that. But actually, it is kind of cool as well because he does become the first and only special teams player to ever win the MVP award. But with that being said, there were some other qualified players for the MVP spot back in 1982, like Dan Fouts, Ken Anderson, and Joe Montana. Just a couple examples. But seeing that Mosley only missed 1 field goal and 3 PATs and was known for having the greatest kicking season of all time, I guess you can see why he got it. Not to mention he was on the team with the best record, so it makes a little more sense. But I mean, Joe Theismann had a pretty good year as well, and John Riggins as well. But you know what? There you go. Kicker, MVP. Now, just another fun fact about the 1982 season. Well, less of a fun fact, more like a little story of how a certain person was able to save the Patriots' playoff hopes. Now, this particular game was famously named the Snowplow game. If you guys want to check it out after the video or whenever you want to, it's not matter. Now, this game was covered in snow as the game was held in New England, and the snow was this play or was this move by John Henderson or Mark Henderson cheating or not. But anyways, the Snowplow actually is hanging up on the Patriots Hall of Fame today, which is really cool, and Mark Henderson is a legend now, which is also pretty cool. Along with some other minor things, the 1982 season is a time we look back on and kind of laugh and remember it the best way as possible, because despite all the things happening, there was some really good football played here, and the 1982 Super Bowl was the finest games I've ever watched, as it's just really good football being played. I highly recommend you all watching it or rewatching it if you have not already. The 82 season went out with a bang and should be remembered as one of the most wacky seasons of all time, and I'm pretty sure this season will continue to stand the test of time as the weirdest NFL season of all time. Alright everybody, thank you all for watching. I highly appreciate you taking the time out of your day and dedicating it to watching this video. It means a lot, and if you happen to like this video, consider dropping a like on the video, as that would be much appreciated. And if you happen to be new, consider subscribing to the channel. If you happen to have a video suggestion, then comment that down below and I could possibly do a video on it. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.